Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku was a YouTuber part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content and leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. The author of the story TurtleWearingClothes from AO3. So let's start the video. It had always been an escape for Midoriya from the bullying that he had dealt with since elementary school. He knew that people bullied him because he was quirkless. He was treated horribly in real life, all because of something he couldn't control. Still, Midoriya had YouTube, and that helped him a lot. Online though, no one had to know that he was quirkless. He was subscribed to a lot of inspirational people and people who analyzed cartoons, video games, and heroes. Those were fun for him because it showed him new perspectives on everything. Of course, he was also obsessed with the video of All Might saving everyone with a smile on his face. Then, in middle school, he decided something. Midoriya decided to make another YouTube account to start uploading videos. Maybe he could actually be someone people liked online. He was stuck on the name though. So, Midoriya was now sitting on his bed, laptop in his lap, thinking, maybe Mighty Man. No, that sounds too much like a hero name, Midoriya sighed. Analysis hero. No, suddenly, a name popped into his head. Bakugou had been calling Midoriya Deku for a very long time. He said it meant weak and useless. There was one time though, back in elementary school, where a girl said she thought it gave off an "I can do it" feeling. She had to transfer right after, but her words had always stuck with Midoriya. And so, Midoriya used Deku for his account name. Clicking submit, he grinned. This was the start of his YouTube career. And remember, you can do it. This is Deku, signing off. Midoriya grinned as he finished recording the audio for his latest video. Moving over to his desktop computer, he started editing together his video. He had just finished a video analyzing a newer hero's quirk. It was a little hard for him lately, balancing YouTube, studying for high school, and training for One for All, but he had been managing. It was hilarious how a lot of his fans had been pointing out how muscular he had gotten. Midoriya had just put the last thing in place, having started the editing a long time ago, when his mother knocked on his door. "Izuku, you need to get ready for your first day of school." "Alright mom. Just let me upload this video." Midoriya clicked save on the editing, skipped through the video to make sure it was good, then clicked upload. After adding a description and proper tags, Midoriya hopped up and started getting ready for school. It would be his first day of high school, and he had gotten into the best hero school in the country, UA High. It was famous for producing some of the greatest heroes in the world, and it was All Might's alma mater. He had cried when he had learned he had gotten in and excitedly made a short vlog about it, which made his fans go crazy. Midoriya smiled as he looked at himself in the mirror. The uniform fit perfectly. He went back over to his computer and saw it had already uploaded. He was grateful that he had great internet. The green-haired boy then added a thumbnail, some end-of-the-video annotations, and it was all set. He left his room and went to the kitchen where his mother had breakfast ready. "So, what's this video about?" Inko asked, making Midoriya a plate of eggs, toast, and bacon. "Just a quirk analysis about a new hero. I hope my subscribers like it." Midoriya dug into his food, taking the time to thank his mom and say it was good. Inko giggled. "Well, I know I'll like it. Even if I don't understand all the science stuff you talk about." Midoriya chuckled and quickly finished his food. He glanced at his phone to see that people were already commenting on his video and grinned. "Let's see first, second, first. Wow, this is great, I didn't think about this. Wow." He always got so happy to read the comments on his videos, though sometimes they weren't the nicest. "Well, I know you would like to stay in all day to come up with another analysis or theory, but it's time to go to school," Inko mentioned, pointing at the clock. Midoriya nodded and stood, kissing his mother on the cheek. "You know that I'm excited to go to school. This has been my dream since I was 3. Inko nodded, getting tears in her eyes. "My baby is growing up. I know you'll do great and I'm so proud of you." Midoriya smiled, then headed off to school. Along the way, he made sure to reply to some comments, mostly on the train. Based on the view and like-to-dislike ratio, Midoriya was happy to say his subscribers liked it so far. So far, the morning was turning out good. With a smile on his face, he approached his classroom, Class 1A. When he opened the door though, he was surprised to see the person who had lectured him about going to talk to 𝗬𝗏𝗏 yelling at Bakugou for having his feet on the desk. He learned during that time that his name was 𝗧𝗏𝗏. Bakugou looked up and narrowed his eyes at Midoriya, making the smaller boy go pale. Bakugou's gaze had captured 𝗧𝗏𝗏's attention though as 𝗧𝗏𝗏 looked over at Midoriya. Everyone else, who were in their seats, also looked at Midoriya, making the boy get flustered. He was used to people sometimes looking at him on the streets and coming up to him, but this was different. Good morning. I am 𝗧𝗏𝗏 started approaching Midoriya. Midoriya cut him off. I heard. He watched as 𝗧𝗏𝗏 seemed to freeze mid-step. I'm Midoriya. Nice to meet you, 𝗧𝗏𝗏. Midoriya's sweat dropped as 𝗧𝗏𝗏 started talking about Midoriya, realizing that there was more to the entrance exam than he lead on, which Midoriya tried to deny. Oh, that curly hair. Deku-kun. Midoriya turned to see 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, who had introduced herself as a fan at the entrance exam after saving him from tripping. He had then saved her from a giant robot, which had earned him his rescue points. He smiled, flushing slightly. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. Oide. Why is she calling you that? Bakugou asked, sitting up. That was his nickname for Midoriya, and he hated that someone else was using it. The brunette looked at him in confusion. Because he's Deku. Since you're calling him that, doesn't that mean you know about his channel? Midoriya held up his hands. Actually, he's where I got the name from. He didn't know I had a channel. Midoriya laughed awkwardly. Wait, what do you mean channel? Like, YouTube channel, a redhead near the front asked. Yeah. How do you not know who he is? He's a very popular YouTuber with over 100,000 subscribers. She turned back to Midoriya. I loved today's video, by the way. I watched it on my way here. Midoriya smiled and blushed slightly. Thanks, 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. You can just call me Izuku if you want though. Wait, what? What do you mean Deku's a popular YouTuber? Bakugou yelled, jumping up. Hey, what's your channel name? The same redhead from earlier asked. I'm Kirishima, by the way. Oh, it's nice to meet you. My channel is called Deku. Midoriya could sense the rage emanating from Bakugou. Soon most of the class was looking at his channel, to Midoriya's slight embarrassment. Whoa, she wasn't joking. That's a lot of subs. Your videos seem pretty interesting too, another blonde spoke up. He had a black lightning bolt in his hair, which Midoriya thought was cool. I'm Kaminari, and I'm totally subbing. Oh, thank you. Midoriya got even more flustered. He didn't even notice as Bakugou stomped up to him until the explosive boy grabbed him by the shirt. Oi, what the F is this? He held up his phone, which had Midoriya's channel. When the F did you start doing this? Midoriya paled slightly and held up his arms in. Since our first year of middle school. I didn't mention it because I didn't think you or the others would care. Bakugou growled, then threw Midoriya on the ground. Well, you're right. I don't care. He stomped back to his seat and sat down, looking angrily out the window. What was that about? 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 mumbled. Midoriya sighed and was about to respond when a voice from behind him interrupted him. Go somewhere else if you want to play at being friends. Midoriya looked behind 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 to see a man laying on the floor in a sleeping bag. He went pale, which caused 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 and 𝗧𝗏𝗏 to look too, both with shocked expressions. This is the hero course. He pulled down the zipper a little and drank juice from a juice bag, it dry. 𝗧𝗏𝗏, Midoriya, and 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 watched with horror-struck faces, Midoriya and 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 more so than 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏. The man introduced himself as their homeroom teacher, 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, then had them throw on their gym uniforms and head outside. Everyone did as they were told, not wanting to disobey their teacher. Being a YouTuber with over 100,000 subscribers, Midoriya had run into the occasional fan. He had even started selling some merchandise thanks to his fans requesting it. He was used to some people randomly getting excited to see him and running up to talk to him. However, this never happened at school. Midoriya was ignored, bullied, and alone a lot. That's why he was so surprised to see many people coming up to him after school ended to talk to him. So, what's it like being famous? Kirishima asked. Famous? I'm not really famous, Midoriya stuttered out, blushing. I mean, sometimes I get recognized on the street, but it's not like I have 1,000,000 subs or anything like that. It's still awesome that you get recognized on the street. I actually have a YouTube channel myself, but I only uploaded one video of some lightning, so I only have 5 subscribers, 𝗵𝗃 said, pulling up his channel on his phone. I've been wanting to do more lighting and electricity-related stuff since that's basically what my quirk is, but I haven't had any ideas on what to do. Midoriya looked at the username. Electric Boy, huh? He quickly looked it up on his phone, then clicked the subscribe button and bell icon. Whoa, did you really just sub to me? 𝗵𝗃 asked, looking at the notification that popped up on his phone. Well yeah, Midoriya shrugged. I just think that lighting videos are really cool, and the video looks like it has nice quality. Hey, maybe you could try storm chasing. Little ones at first, of course. And you could also try making light shows with your quirk, Midoriya suggested and grinned at 𝗵𝗃. SHT, that's a great idea. Thanks, Midoriya. Midoriya chuckled. I really encourage everyone to try and upload content on YouTube. It can help you in so many ways, from just being a creative outlet to a place where you can find love and support. Deku-kun, when are the new hoodies coming in? 𝗬𝗧𝗏 asked. Hoodies? Ida asked. Midoriya chuckled shyly. Well, my fans have been wanting hoodies that match the hero costume that I designed and showed off in a video. So, I finally got around to designing them and placing an order for them. I'll be getting the first few to add a sewn signature, and the rest are being shipped out during that time, which will be in 3 days last time I checked. 𝗬𝗧𝗏 pouted. I wish they were here now. I'm one of the people who won one of the signed ones actually. Midoriya perked up. Really? That's awesome. What's your channel name? 𝗬𝗏𝗏, 𝗬𝗧𝗏 answered. I haven't posted any videos yet though. Midoriya grinned. Let me know when you do. Oh come on, it can't be that hard to get popular on YouTube if Deku could do it. Bakugou yelled. I bet I could make a channel and get 1,000,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Midoriya's eyebrows furrowed. I don't think it's that easy, Kakin. After all, it took the most popular YouTubers around 8 years to dash. Shut it, Deku. I'm making a channel and I'm going to show everyone you're nothing special. Midoriya sighed, shaking his head. Well, I would never argue against someone trying to be a YouTuber. This makes me want to start a channel. Kirishima yelled, obviously excited. Hey, maybe we could make this a challenge? Ishido suggested. We all start YouTube channels today for those who don't have them, and then we try to get as many subscribers as we can by the end of next month. Whoever wins will get a shout-out on Midoriya's channel. Well, it's not really all about the subs. What really matters is watch time, and Midoriya sighed and stopped talking when he noticed no one else was listening to him, which he was a little used to in real life. Ishido went up to the board and made a box with 4 columns and 20 rows. At the top, she wrote Deku in the first box, then 101,673 in the next, and left the last 2 boxes blank. Alright, so here's how it will go. The first box will have our channel names, the second will have our starting number of subs, the next one will be our results at the end of the month, then finally the last one will have our total at the end of next month. Ishido said. The boy in the first seat who had introduced himself as Aoyama stood. My channel name shall be I Cannot Stop Twinkling. Ishido nodded and wrote that down, marking his starting number at 0. And I'll be Alien Queen. Because I look like an alien, and that's what I would want my hero name to be. I guess I'll go with 𝗵𝗃𝗏. I've had that in mind for my hero name since elementary school, Azui decided when Ishido looked at her. Ishido continued getting people to create YouTube channels if they hadn't yet, and getting the names of people who already had some. Most people had either gone with what they wanted their future hero names to be, or something that they thought would be good for now. Midoriya has spent this time replying to comments he had gotten, slightly scared of the fact that Bakugou had gone with the name Lord 𝗵𝗵𝗏𝗧𝗏. Everyone had made their channels, then started talking about what kind of content they were going to make. Midoriya looked on the board at everyone's channel names. He made sure to subscribe to all of them, interested in what kind of content they were going to make. 𝗧𝗏 started laughing. Midoriya, did you just subscribe to everyone? Midoriya shyly nodded. I'm interested to see what kind of content you're all going to make. Oi, why the F did you subscribe to me, Deku? I don't want your shitty subscription. Bakugou growled. Midoriya sighed. Bakugou was always going to be an arrogant jerk, it seemed. Midoriya did secretly take pleasure in knowing that Bakugou was going to be proved wrong. Not to be mean, but Midoriya doubted anyone would get more than 100 subs in the next 2 months. Hey Midoriya. How long did it take you to get 100 subscribers, and at the point you're at? The girl Midoriya knew as Yaoyorozu asked. Midoriya bit his lip in thought. I'd say a year and a half. Once I reached 1,000 in my second year, I got a shout-out from a popular theorist which helped me gain a lot of subscribers. I kept getting more shout-outs and did some collabs, and 3 years later and here we are. A person normally wouldn't be at the point I'm at with the type of videos I make, but again those shout-outs helped. Of course, I had to work hard to prove I deserved those shout-outs. Wait a year? Kaminari asked. Midoriya nodded. Yeah. Takes a long time to grow your channel if you don't get shout-outs or help from others. It also helped when I got an understanding of how to edit and all that stuff. Wow, I didn't know that much goes into it. I thought it was like an overnight thing, Kirishima said, sitting on the desk next to Midoriya's, which was Zero's. Midoriya chuckled. I'm sure you all will learn about it soon. Later that day, Midoriya found himself in his room, thinking about what to do for his next video. He was debating on whether to do another video game theory or another hero analysis. He was leaning toward theory because he had done several quirk and hero analyses already when a notification popped up on his phone. Kirishima uploaded a video. Midoriya clicked on the video and almost died laughing when he saw the title. The title was Shoving 3 Watermelons in My Mouth, and sure enough, the video started off with a camera on Kirishima and 3 watermelons. Hey guys. So, in my class, there's this challenge to see who can get the most subscribers at the end of next month. The winner will get a shout-out on Deku's channel, who is apparently a huge YouTuber with over 100,000 subs in our class. Obviously, people sub when they see impossible things done, right? So, I'm going to fit these 3 watermelons in my mouth. Kirishima picked up one of the watermelons and, surprisingly, managed to fit it in his mouth. They were smaller than average but not small enough for 3 in his mouth. Midoriya watched as Kirishima attempted to fit a second in his mouth. He did, but only halfway, with his sharp teeth stopping the melon from falling out. Midoriya chuckled when the red-haired teen then tried to put the third one in, only for it to fall, causing it to split on the ground. Kirishima looked at the melon, then managed to break it into smaller pieces using his quirk and shove it in his mouth. Technically, he had fit 3 melons in his mouth, only one was in pieces and another was halfway out of his mouth. Midoriya liked the video and closed out of it, then focused back on the blank Word document in front of him. If he did another theory, he would have to come up with it tonight in order to get everything done on time for the next scheduled upload. Usually, he was ahead with his videos, but studying for the entrance exam into UA and preparing his body for one for all had left him with little free time. Another ding from his phone broke his concentration and he looked to see Todoroki had uploaded a video called I Made Rice. Just like the title said, it was a video of Todoroki making rice. Midoriya didn't really know how to respond to the video itself, so he just liked it and looked back at the computer. Maybe he could do a theory on the newest indie game that had become pretty popular. He was pretty sure he had an idea for a theory about who the main character actually was. Izuku. You have some guests at the door. They said that they're your friends from school. Midoriya raised an eyebrow, but stood and opened his door to see his mother, looking slightly worried. They both knew that sometimes his fans would make up lies to get close to him. It had only happened twice before, but still. I'll go talk to them, Midoriya said before going to the apartment door, opening it to see Kirishima, Uraraka, Ida, and Kaminari. Midoriya tilted his head. Hi. What are you guys doing here? We were hoping for some advice on making videos. That, and I did want to hang out with you more, if you don't mind, Uraraka laughed awkwardly. Midoriya smiled. Alright, come on in. He moved aside to let them in, to Inko's surprise. She had thought that they were just more fans. I'll go make some tea, she announced before rushing off to the kitchen. Midoriya closed the door, then moved over to his room. Since we're talking about YouTube, let's talk in my room because it has my computer. Sounds great, dude. Thanks for having us. 𝗵𝗃 fist bumped with Midoriya as he entered the room, plopping down on the bed. Thank you for having us, and I apologize for the intrusion, 𝗧𝗓 said as he passed Midoriya and entered the room. Man, this is awesome. You're so manly, Midoriya. 𝗕𝗁𝗁𝗍 sat on the bed next to 𝗵𝗃. I can't believe I'm entering a famous YouTuber's room. And not just any YouTuber's room, but Deku's room. 𝗬𝗧𝗏 mumbled as she entered the room, making Midoriya laugh. Midoriya then joined everyone in the room, closing the door and taking a seat at his desk and facing everyone. 𝗵𝗃 and 𝗕𝗁𝗁 had settled on his bed, while 𝗬𝗧𝗏 had claimed his beanbag chair and 𝗧𝗓 just leaned against a wall. So, what exactly do you guys need help with? Midoriya asked, a bright look on his face. Well, for starters, 𝗧𝗓 and I don't know what kind of content to upload, 𝗬𝗧𝗏 answered. I don't really know either. I just uploaded something that I thought would get me views, 𝗕𝗁𝗁 admitted. Yeah, I saw your video earlier. Honestly, at first I thought it was clickbait, but you did it. You shoved 3 watermelons in your mouth, Midoriya said, pulling up YouTube on his computer. 𝗕𝗁𝗁 laughed. Yeah, I was honestly thought I could do it without breaking them or anything, but I ended up having to break one. That doesn't sound safe, 𝗧𝗓 commented, looking at 𝗕𝗁𝗁 warily. Hey, 𝗕𝗁𝗁, did you add any tags to your video? Midoriya asked, squinting at his screen as he tried looking up 𝗕𝗁𝗁's video. Tags? What do you mean by that? Was the response Midoriya got. The green-haired boy sighed and pulled up one of his videos on Creator Studio. Tags are what help people find your videos. If you look on my screen right here, for my latest video I put several tags, like the hero's name, the video title, the quirk the analysis is about, my channel name, etc. For the rest of the afternoon, Midoriya basically gave a class on YouTube 101, occasionally taking snack breaks thanks to 𝗃. By the time the others had left, it was late and Midoriya groaned as he looked at the blank Word document. While he didn't mind helping others, he wished that he had gotten his basic script done earlier. Midoriya then spent a good portion of the night researching and writing. The next day, Midoriya had heavy bags under his eyes as he walked into class. He plopped down in his seat, trying to stay awake. Whoa, dude, are you alright? 𝗧𝗏 asked, turning in his seat to face Midoriya. I stayed up all night writing out the script for my next video and doing research for it. Did you know that 2 cherry seeds contain enough cyanide to kill a full-grown adult? I do now, Midoriya yawned. Why did you do all of that last night? 𝗔𝗨𝗧 asked, leaning back in her seat. Midoriya smiled. It's so that I can upload all my videos at a regular schedule. I usually have scripts and stuff written out ahead of time, but I had to devote a lot of my free time to studying for the entrance exam to get into UA and preparing for high school kept me busy. Deku uploads every Monday and Friday. I don't know how he does it with how long it takes to make edits and stuff, 𝗬𝗧𝗏 mentioned as she approached the 3 who were talking. Midoriya nodded. Yeah. I haven't missed a day since I started, and I plan on not missing one until I quit YouTube. That's very admirable. But how did it take you all night to finish your script? Yaoyorozu asked. Oh, it didn't take all night. I got an hour of sleep. And I would have had it done earlier, but 𝗬𝗧𝗏, 𝗕𝗁𝗁𝗍, 𝗵𝗃, and 𝗧𝗓 stopped by to ask for some YouTube tips. We hung out for a while after that, so by the time I actually got to the script, it was around 8, Midoriya explained. The people who were in class glared at the 4 who were mentioned. Mina in particular. That's cheating. No, it's not. You never said we couldn't ask Midoriya for advice. 𝗕𝗁𝗁𝗍 argued. Well, still, it's not fair for the rest of us who have no YouTube experience, Ojiro spoke up. Todoroki walked over to Midoriya. He wasn't usually one to be invested in these kinds of things, but he actually liked Midoriya's content, and, surprisingly, 𝗕𝗏𝗏 liked it too for the quirk analyses. So, he wanted to try and win this challenge. Midoriya, can you give me some tips during lunch? Midoriya nodded. Sure. I don't mind giving people who ask advice. In that case, I want advice too. Mina yelled, moving over to Midoriya. All right, Midoriya smiled. Soon though, a lot of the class was also asking for advice. He was happy to help, but he was suddenly feeling a little overwhelmed. Hey, How about we all just come over to my house later after school then so that we don't disturb Midoriya's lunch? 𝗧𝗫𝗧𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗵 suggested. He can give us an after-school class then? Most of the class agreed, leaving Midoriya sitting there in a state of confusion. He didn't know what just happened, but apparently, he was giving a YouTube class after school now. He'd have to stop home to get his equipment though and get permission from his mom in the first. Great. I can have my chauffeur pick you all up after school if you want to head home first. I'll just need your addresses, 𝗧𝗫𝗧𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗵 said, pulling out her phone. Chauffeur? 𝗧𝗫𝗁𝗀𝗧 asked. Are you rich? 𝗧𝗏 asked. 𝗧𝗫𝗁𝗧𝗔 blushed. Yeah, a little bit. In the end, everyone, besides Bakugou, gave 𝗧𝗫𝗁𝗧𝗔 their addresses just as 𝗧𝗏 walked into class. He glared at everyone, which got them to settle down in their seats. Midoriya sighed as he walked back to class. With 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗶 class, he excited at first but quickly became scared when he was paired against Bakugou. For good reason too, considering how he had ended up in the infirmary. He had woken up just as class ended, went to class to learn that Bakugou had left earlier, confronted him about some things, talked to 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗶 a bit, then finally was back at class 1A. He had remembered how they had all wanted a class on YouTube. When he got there though, everyone had agreed that it would be better to save that for the weekend, when they would have more time. So, Midoriya headed home, where his mother panicked over how beat up he was. The next day found the class abuzz with the news that they needed to choose a class representative. Of course, most people thought that they should be the representative, causing the class to go into chaos until Ida yelled that they should vote for it. So, right next to the sub-chart, someone made a chart of the class. Everyone voted, and to Midoriya's surprise, he found himself the winner with 3 votes. 𝗧𝗫𝗁𝗧𝗔 was just behind him with 2. I got 3 votes? Bakugou shot up. Why Deku? Who voted for him? Well, it's better than you, 𝗬𝗏 joked. While that was going on, Midoriya noticed how 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 seemed to look away and whistle, making it obvious she voted for him. In front of her, Ida was sulking about not getting any votes, which meant he didn't vote for himself. The next thing he knew, Midoriya was shaking in front of the class with 𝗧𝗫𝗁𝗧𝗔 standing next to him. Aizawa announced that Midoriya was officially class rep and 𝗧𝗫𝗁𝗧𝗔 would be deputy class rep. Midoriya couldn't stop shaking, not believing that this was happening. Luckily, lunch was soon after, which allowed Midoriya to calm down as he sat and ate. 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 sat in front of him and Ida sat on her right. He sighed. Even though I've been chosen as class rep, I don't know if I'm qualified for it. Without missing a beat, 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 replied, You are? Ida nodded. It'll be fine. Your courage and judgment at critical moments make you worth following. That is why I voted for you. Midoriya gasped. You voted for me. 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 glanced at Ida. But didn't you want to be class rep too, Ida? She looked back at Midoriya. And you already have lots of followers, so it seems like a good choice. They continued talking, and soon Ida brought up that he was 𝗔𝗵𝗄𝗏's younger brother. Midoriya smiled and was about to say something else when an alarm bell rang out. Midoriya laid back on his bed. Things had been so hectic recently with the USJ attack and the sports festival coming up. He was ready to just relax, and what perfect way to do that than his monthly live stream. Midoriya got up and went over to his computer, sitting down in front of it. He turned it on, pulled up his channel, then clicked the live stream button. It didn't take long for the number of people watching to grow into the thousands. Hey everyone. This is Deku, signing on. Midoriya greeted. As most of you know, at the end of every month I do a live stream to talk about how the month has gone and answer some questions you all have. Midoriya glanced at the comment feed as it started being flooded. Alien Queen. Whoa. So that's what Midoriya's bedroom looks like. Cellophane. It's decked out in All Might merch. 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗏. Hi Deku. User not found. Another live stream. User not found. Another Creati. This is a great idea, Midoriya. A fun way to get to know and talk to your fans. Guest. Are these some of the classmates Deku was talking about? Mr. Flex. Probably. Midoriya laughed and looked back at the camera. Yes, those are my classmates. So, to start things off, I know a lot of you were worried when you heard about the USJ attack. Luckily, everyone got out for the most part uninjured, except for me. As you guys may know, I still have trouble controlling my quirk, which causes me to break my limbs when I use it. However, a quick visit with recovery girl and I'm now alright. 𝗏𝗵𝗧𝗏, I'm glad you are feeling better, young Midoriya. You and your classmates were all very brave during the event. Electric boy, why does that? 𝗔𝗂𝗁𝗵𝗃, all might. 𝗏𝗵𝗃, yes. I'm here. 𝗏𝗵𝗃, young Midoriya helped me make an account recently after I learned about his videos. User not found. All Might is here watching 𝗕𝗂𝗁𝗵𝐴 livestream. Guest. Welp, I'm dead. Midoriya snorted. When All Might found out I was a popular YouTuber thanks to my classmates, he decided he wanted to follow along with my videos, especially considering the type of content I make. So, I helped him make an account. He then blushed slightly. I suggested the name as a joke, but he rolled with it, so, 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗲, why the F are you doing a live stream this late? I'm trying to sleep. 𝗓𝗪𝗏𝗿, Bakugou, it's 1727. Plus, you can just click off 𝗓𝗪𝗏𝗿. Wait, how did you know Midoriya was live streaming? Alien Queen, did Bakugou subscribe to Midoriya? Midoriya tried his best not to laugh as Bakugou made up terrible excuses about how he found the live stream by accident when trying to find videos to put him to sleep or something. During that time, Midoriya leaned over and picked up something that was under his desk. Anyway, I thought I would take this moment to look at some of the things you guys sent me. Midoriya sat back up and in his hands was a sack full of mail. He set the sack to the side and pulled out the first thing, which was a brown cardboard box. This is from Mr. Flex. Mr. Flex, hello. Thought that you might like what I sent you. Midoriya pulled out a pocket knife and skillfully cut open the package. Earphone jack. Is anyone else concerned with how good Midoriya is at using a knife? 𝗓𝗏𝗏, I would be more concerned if it was Bakugou 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗲. What the F did you just say to me? 𝗵𝗃, language. I know your mother swears a lot so you grew up with it, but some of Izuku's fans are still children. User not found. Yay mama Midoriya. 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗲. Sorry Andy? 𝗓𝗪𝗏𝗏, did he just say sorry? Midoriya got the package opened and gasped, dropping his knife. This is what's. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, I want to see. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, what is it young Midoriya? Midoriya pulled out a limited edition All Might doll. This is so rare. Only 50 were made. How did you get this, Mr. Flex? Mr. Flex, I won it in a contest. I'm not the biggest fan of All Might, sorry at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I'm more of a Best Jeanist fan. So, I decided to send it to the #1 All Might fan who is a precious cinnamon roll. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, it is alright. I know that I cannot be everyone's favorite. Alien Queen, guys, I think Midoriya just died a little. I can see his soul coming out. Midoriya was staring at the doll in shock and awe. Thank you. I'll treasure this forever. Midoriya smiled so happily at the camera, a few people thought they were going to die from the cuteness. Mr. Flex, so worth it. User not found. Agreed guest, agreed 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, agreed Alien Queen, agreed Shark Boy, agreed 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, agreed 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, agreed 𝗓𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, agreed Electric Boy, agreed 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, agreed Midoriya blushed and hid his face behind the doll slightly. Alright, time for the next one. Midoriya carefully set the toy down and pulled out the next package, grabbing his knife and opening it again with precision. This one is from Knitter's Life. Mr. Flex, welp, we all know what's going to happen next. User not found, my body is ready. 𝗓𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, should I be concerned? 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, this is my favorite thing on the monthly live streams. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, I am not prepared for this. I'm in public. Midoriya carefully pulled out a sweater that was a dark green. It looked like it would be slightly big on him. Knitter's Life, how do you keep making these wonderful sweaters and shirts for me each month? I'm seriously so grateful. Midoriya set the sweater down and stood, taking off his shirt. Knitter's Life, it's really no hassle thanks to my quirk. User not found at Knitter's Life, you are a godsend. It's thanks to you that we get to see Deku's amazing body every month. 𝗔𝗂𝗁𝗵𝗃 at 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 just fell to the floor, crying. 𝗓𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, holy cow, Midoriya's ripped. 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, my skin has cleared, my are ready to be harvested, and there is no world peace. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, alright, I am concerned now. Midoriya paid no mind to the comments as he threw on his new sweater. It has a chibi version of him on it in his superhero outfit that he had shown off that he had now. He was almost crying when he looked it over. This is amazing. He sat back down. Electric Boy, Midoriya. Tell us your secrets. Shoto, you think I might be gay? Cellophane, honestly. Red Riot, I already knew I was a user not found. I'm getting a kick out of these classmates of Deku's. Expect 4 at Lord Explosion Murder. You, sir, are an $8 hole. 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗍, I am dying. Red Riot, Kaminari and I are laughing so hard right now. Lord Explosion Murder, F you. Midoriya giggled. I think this is the most lively stream I've had in a while. And Kaminari, it's all about eating right and working out. I cleared out a whole beach that was filled with garbage to start, and since then I've been regularly exercising and lifting weights. Anyway, the next item is a letter. Electric Boy, did he just say he cleared a whole beach of garbage? Like the one that had washing machines, fridges, trucks, and much more. Midoriya showed the camera a neat, white envelope and opened it. Dear Deku, I was to say that your quirk analyses are amazing. I was wondering if you could examine my quirk sometime and tell me ways that I can improve and get stronger. As payment, I present to you this picture I drew of the time I saw you and All Might hanging out at the beach. P.S. I wanted to say hi but you two ran away before I could. Midoriya glanced at the comments, nervous. Electric Boy, why were All Might and Midoriya hanging out at the beach together? 𝗏𝗏𝗏, I didn't know anyone was close enough to recognize young Midoriya. User not found. Deku hung out with All Might and didn't vlog it. I feel robbed. Mr. Flex, now we need to see Deku interview All Might since they clearly know each other enough to hang out. Tsukuyomi, well, there's also the fact that he's our teacher. 𝗵𝗏𝗏, we demand an interview. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, I'd be happy to let young Midoriya interview me. 𝗵𝗃, let me know when so that I can have the house spotless. Guest, hey, anyone else notice that Mama Midoriya's name is 𝗵𝗏𝗏 and All Might's is 𝗏𝗏𝗏? And who happened to choose both of their names? 𝗵𝗃, Deku ships 𝗧𝗵𝗲 and All Might. Confirmed. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 ships. What do you mean by that? Gungal, All Might doesn't know what shipping is. Oh. No one tell him. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, shipping is the transport of goods by sea or some other means, isn't it? Red Riot, I think Midoriya is going to die from heat stroke. Midoriya was bright red, sputtering and gasping. I don't ship them. I chose my mom's YouTube name because when I was younger, I used to want my hero name to be something like All Might's, and I followed that theme with my mom's YouTube name. She's 𝗵𝗏𝗏 because she is a hero to me like All Might. Guest, that is actually really cute. But now I wonder that since Deku knows what shipping is, he read the fanfics. 𝗵𝗃𝗏, I certainly hope not. * sweats nervously and deletes my fanfic account *𝗬𝗏𝗏. I regretted looking those up when I found out they exist. Electric Boy, I want to read these fanfics now. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, what are fanfics? Creati, I don't know either. Someone, please explain. Midoriya started sweating nervously. Well, fanfics are basically stories that fans write about something they love. It can involve book characters, cartoon characters, movie characters, game characters, and real-life people. They are works of fiction by fans, hence the name fanfiction. Also I have read a few. Some I regret reading. Gungal, maybe Deku isn't as innocent as we thought. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, where does one read these fanfics? Are there any about me? 𝗵𝗃𝗏, whatever you do All Might, do not look up fanfics. Trust us. Do not. Midoriya nodded. Yeah, it's better if you don't. Earphone jack. So I am now deeply concerned with Midoriya's fans thanks to what I just read. Red Riot, same 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, anyone want brain bleach? I know I did when I first found Deku fanfics. Electric Boy, I am now scared. Lord Explosion Murder, what are you idiots talking about? It can't be anything that bad. Mr. Flex, he's going to regret that. Guest, Deku, please know that I am not one of the ones who write fanfics about you. Guest, I only draw fan art. 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏, what kind of fan art? Midoriya sighed and shook his head. Maybe I'll do a special where I read through the innocent fanfics and look at the innocent fan art? He gave the camera a pointed look, pouting. While you guys can write and draw whatever you want, please stop sending me the ones that are NSFW. Mr. Flex. Welp, there goes my heart. 𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗍, even when he's pouting he's adorable. 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗏, NSFW. 𝗵𝗃𝗲𝗁𝗍𝗂𝗁. Are you hiding things from me? Are some people threatening you? Guest. Don't worry at 𝗵𝗃𝗲. It's just some normal internet stuff. And at 𝗬𝗏𝗏 you don't need to know. Midoriya sighed. Don't worry about it, 𝗵. No one is threatening me, my fans just get a little too excited sometimes. Lord Explosion Murder. Too deeply regret looking that stuff up. WTF is wrong with your fans, Deku? Midoriya pouted again. There's nothing wrong with my fans. They are perfect. Maybe a little eccentric at times, but they are all wonderful. User not found. Deku must be protected at all cost. Mr. Flex. Agreed 𝗏𝗏𝗏, agreed guest, agreed 𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗏, agreed I ain't paint, agreed knitter's life, agreed 𝗬𝗏𝗏, agreed 𝗬𝗏𝗏, agreed Midoriya squinted as he made sure the camera was working on his computer, then smiled. Hey guys. This is Deku, signing on. Midoriya stepped back to reveal several people in his living room, all in workout clothes. So, I know I don't usually do live streams more than once a month, but this is a special occasion. In about 3 days, my school will be starting our sports festival. In order to get ready, my friends and I have been training together and working out, trying to be in perfect condition. He gestured to his guest, which consisted of Iida, Todoroki, Uraraka, Kirishima, Kaminari, and surprisingly, Bakugou. They all had their own weights suited to them, and some other things for working out. We decided that to better motivate ourselves while training, we would turn this into a competition, with you guys as the judges? Mr. Flex, so you're telling me we get to see several guys and one girl working out. I'm so into this. User not found. Is Deku trying to kill us? I think I'm going to faint. 𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗏. I found Heaven. Midoriya chuckled at the comments and picked up some of his own weights. With our first competition, Kakin challenged me to a weightlifting contest, seeing who could lift the most, and Kirishima decided to join in. So, I guess challenge us to lift something. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, you can lift me into those strong arms. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, I feel like I shouldn't read these comments. User not found, lift 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. Uraraka blushed as Deku nodded, then lifted Uraraka effortlessly into her arms. Mr. Flex, 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 is living out our fan dreams right now. User not found. This is just amazing. I really want to be in 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏's position right now. Deku then set Uraraka down, only for Kirishima to pick her up next. Easy. Uraraka is as light as a feather, even without her quirk. Uraraka blushed and thanked Kirishima, only to glare as Bakugou picked her up next. It was clear neither enjoyed it. Deku looked back at the comments section. Alright, what next? Mr. Flex, how about Ingenium 2? That would be amusing. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, is everyone going to choose people for them to lift? 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, how about you choose next time at 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏? Iida started waving his arms around. What? No thank you. I do not appreciate 𝗕. He was cut off by Kirishima lifting him up. 𝗕𝗁𝗍, let me down. Sure dude, Kirishima grinned and let Iida down, only for the teen to be picked up again by Bakugou. Give us a challenge. Bakugou yelled as he threw Iida at Midoriya, who easily caught him. Sorry about that, Iida, Midoriya said as he set the frazzled Iida down. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, how about the couch? User not found. All might, it has to be things that they can actually lift. Midoriya grinned. That's easy. He went and picked up the couch, not even letting Todoroki, Iida, Uraraka, or Kaminari, who were all sitting, get up. Everyone in the room seemed to malfunction at the sight of tiny Midoriya lifting up a couch and 4 people. Mr. Flex, all right then. I'm very impressed to say the least. User not found. Is it possible for me to get even gayer? Because I think I just have. Deku could probably lift his entire fan base. And he's still holding the couch. Is he going to set it down? Who knows? I certainly don't, because apparently I was wrong about how strong our cinnamon bun was. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, that's less than his limit. I've seen him easily move a rusted truck. Midoriya set the couch of people down, looking at Bakugou and Kirishima expectantly. Kirishima just shook his head, and while Bakugou tried, he couldn't pick up the couch, only being able to move it slightly. Inko giggled lightly from her spot out of view of the camera, reading. She was proud of her son and glad that he had so many friends. Midoriya smiled at the camera. Looks like I finally beat Kaken at something. He usually wins considering his quirk and intelligence. He's definitely smarter than me academic-wise. Bakugou growled and grabbed Midoriya's shirt. What does that mean? Are you trying to make fun of me? Kirishima looked at Bakugou, clearly confused and frustrated. Dude. He was literally complimenting you. How do you think that translates to making fun of you? Midoriya shrugged it off and brushed Bakugou's hand away. Anyway, the next competition is who can lift weights the longest. Mr. Flex, anyone up for a little road trip to find where Kaken lives? Gun-gal, you bet. User not found. I'm in. I can pick everyone up in my tour bus that I bought for cheap. 𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗵𝗆, I'm also in for this. Guest, normally I wouldn't travel alone with people I don't know, but for Deku, sure. Dad might, I don't condone this. Mummy, don't worry everyone. Izuku can handle this. I may be a little biased, but I have a feeling that he could easily defeat Bakugou. Midoriya glanced at his mom, who was now putting away her phone, and then at Bakugou, who was giving Inko a betrayed look. Kirishima snorted when he saw the chat while Kaminari just burst out laughing with Uraraka. Ida and Todoroki stayed neutral. Midoriya sighed. Guys, don't worry, I can handle myself. Even without using my quirk, I'm physically strong. Although, Midoriya grinned, looking into the camera. It would be great if you guys could root for us at the sports festival. And if any of you guys live nearby, I'll try and meet up with you. Mr. Flex, Google, how much does it cost to get a plane ticket to UA? User not found. People. If anyone lives near me, I'll gladly give you a ride to UA. 𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗵𝗆, I actually live nearby you. I just checked. I'll help pay for snacks and gas as compensation. Paint, same for me. I'll DM you my address. Soon, the chat was spammed with people saying that they were going, which made Midoriya sweat drop. Guys, don't waste your money on me, alright? The chat was once again spammed with people saying that they were going no matter what. When Midoriya tweeted out to his fans that he was near the UA entrance if anyone wanted to meet up, he expected a few people to show up. Really only a few. But when the number of people started edging over 100, Midoriya realized how wrong he was. He was soon swarmed by fans asking for pictures and autographs, which he gladly agreed to. A few random people came up too, assuming it was a famous hero that was causing people to form a mob. Eventually, though, the time had come where Midoriya had to go. Sorry everyone. I have to go into the arena now so that I can walk out with my class. I'll try and meet up with you all later though. And with that, Midoriya rushed away, a few, aka 56, fans following. Midoriya managed to make it into the room where his class was gathered safely though. I feel incredibly jealous right now, Kaminari mumbled, to some of the class's agreement. If I hadn't made it into UA, I would have been in that crowd, Uraraka admitted. Midoriya grinned. I love my fans even if they are a little overwhelming sometimes. I didn't expect over 100 of them to come when I tweeted out that I was at the entrance. Midoriya's phone then started buzzing erratically, much to everyone's confusion. The boy sighed and pulled out his phone to see a spam of mentions and likes. Everyone is posting the pictures they took with and of me, he explained as he turned his phone off. DMN. You're almost at 200,000 subs now, right? Meanwhile, I'm still only at 103, Kirishima said. I'm at 99. I just need one more for 100. Ashido yelled. I'm at 56, Uraraka mumbled. 78 for me, Karo, Azui added. The end of the month is practically here, which means we only have another month until the contest is over, Siro mentioned. I'm at 24 subs still. Hey, you guys should be happy about that. Those numbers are actual people who like you guys enough to follow you. Plus, remember how long it took for me to get to 100? About a year. You guys are crushing it. Deku said, cheering up everyone. It was then that it was announced that they needed to head out of the arena, so they did. As soon as they entered and it was announced that they were Class 1A, however, everyone could hear people chanting Deku. Midoriya looked at the source and saw that many of his fans got seats near where Class 1 𝗧𝗵𝗲 was, and a lot of them were holding signs for him. Midoriya turned bright red from embarrassment and waved at his fans, which made them cheer his name even louder. What's this? It seems like an army has come to root for Izuku Midoriya. To raise her head, do you know what's going on with that? Aizawa sighed into the mic. Midoriya is a well-known YouTuber. It's not surprising that some of his fans would come to root for him, especially considering the mob they made earlier. Midoriya blushed even more as he stood with his class. He didn't miss some of the looks he was getting from other classes either when everyone was outside. Some were looks of jealous, some of hatred, some of awe, and some a combination. Midoriya watched as Midnight appeared, and paled when she announced Bakugou would have to give the pledge. He and his other classmates watched with varying levels of concern as Bakugou went up to the mic. I pledge that I'll be number one. Midoriya groaned as everything dissolved into chaos after Bakugou said that. He really should have expected that, but still. Midoriya glanced at his fans to see most of them giving Bakugou the death stare. It was easy to pick them out since most of them were wearing his merch and held signs to support him. He wondered if error, user not found, had actually come with the others. Soon, Midnight told them to get ready for the first event, which was an obstacle race. Midoriya knew that he had to focus and that he couldn't use one for all. Midnight signaled for them to start. It was chaos right off the bat. Midoriya just did his best till the end, where he dug up the mines and set off the huge explosion, which sent him flying into the air. Meanwhile, a pink-haired 17-year-old boy sat in the stands, watching excitedly. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Deku is amazing! An 18-year-old man sat next to him. He had huge muscles and purple hair. Calm down, error. I think the security guards are already thinking about kicking us out. A 17-year-old girl in a 𝗬𝗠 cowboy outfit plopped in between them. Calm down, Mr. Flex. We're fine. I just can't wait to meet Deku in real life and see him win this thing. A 16-year-old girl with hair that was basically ink giggled. I still think it's amazing that I'm getting to meet you all. And I'm glad that my parents let me go. A smaller 15-year-old boy with pale white hair and red eyes nodded. I'm surprised mine let me too. This is almost as good as a convention. Another 18-year-old, this time a woman with long black hair, leaned back from her spot in front of the group. Deku deserves all the love and support we can give him. He is the hero that the world needs, but doesn't deserve. 𝗧𝗏 was bouncing in his seat. Did you see how he went flying though? I don't care what he says about Lord Explosion Murder, our Deku is the smartest. Right, 𝗏𝗏𝗏? He looked at the girl to his right who had the 𝗬𝗠 outfit on. Yeah, he's. Hey, guest, how old are you again? The 15-year-old albino looked up at her from his spot next to 𝗵𝗏𝗍. I'm 15. I have a pretty strong quirk though, so my parents are more lenient of me going and doing my thing. 𝗵𝗏𝗍 chuckled and looked at the girl with dripping ink for hair. I'm guessing Ms. I Ain't Paint here has a quirk having to do with ink. I Ain't Paint nodded. Yeah, it dashed. She cut herself off when they all noticed that someone was about to emerge from the tunnel. Izuku Midoriya is the first one out of the tunnel. He wins. Present Mike yelled. The whole stadium nearly went deaf from the noise made by the self-named Deku squad. They were cheering so loudly they shook the stands. He did it. He won. 𝗧𝗏 yelled, gripping onto 𝗏𝗏𝗏 tightly, who was laughing and cheering. Midoriya blushed and shyly waved at his fans, then looked over at All Might. Damn it. He's too cute. 𝗵𝗏𝗍 yelled. It's to be expected, Ain't Paint laughed. He's so adorable I'm going to die, Mr. Flex announced before falling to the side into 𝗏𝗏𝗏's lap. Everyone perked up when the results were announced, with the Deku squad laughing at Bakugou's picture. 𝗧𝗏 was laughing the hardest of course. Holy fudge. I think I just ruptured my spleen. The a-hole's picture is amazing. Midnight announced that only the top 42 were moving on to the next event, which was unfortunate but was to be expected. When Midnight explained the next event and the point system, however, some of the Deku squad paled right along with Midoriya. Oh he, someone muttered. Our poor Deku, guest mumbled, shaking his head. Welp, this is going to be interesting, 𝗧𝗏 shouted while laughing. I want to jump down and go protect our precious cinnamon roll, Mr. Flex commented, ready to get up. I do too, but that will probably end badly. We'll just have to comfort him later after he wins this thing, 𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗶 said while setting a hand on Mr. Flex's knee. I am going to draw him some fan art to make him feel better, 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗶 muttered while pulling out their sketchbook. The cavalry battle started with everyone on the edge of their seats. They watched as the battle progressed, all the way up to Midoriya losing the 10 million point headband and the battle ending. Air burst out laughing. Lord 𝗓𝗏𝗄𝗏 is acting like a toddler throwing a fit. He's such a baby. Oh no, does this mean Deku's team lost? Guest asked, looking at their idol in concern. Nope. It seems they had a trick up their sleeve, 𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗶 said, pointing over to where Dark Shadow held a headband as it was announced Midoriya's team got fourth place. The Deku squad cheered loudly and had some laughs as Midoriya cried so hard he broke the ground. Are we sure tears aren't his real quirk? 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗶 asked, sweat dropping. When it was announced that they were taking an hour break, of course, Midoriya wanted to eat with his fans. However, right after he tweeted saying that he would meet up with them, Todoroki told him he wanted to talk in private, which they did. Midoriya had to admit he walked away from that a little shaken. He had learned so much about Todoroki that he didn't expect. He shook his head though and headed to his meeting spot with his fans. He had found out there was a total of 125 there, and he wanted to try and spend time with them all. When he got there, he was met with a lot of smiling faces and cheers, people telling him he was amazing and almost everyone giving him some food they had made. When they all sat down to eat, Midoriya had a pile of food in front of him. He sweat dropped. Thank you all so much. Not just for the food, but for coming here and supporting me. Deku. Mr. Flex grabbed Midoriya's shoulder. You are a big joy in our life. There is no way we would miss this. Yeah. 𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗶 placed a hand on Midoriya's shoulder, presenting him with a soda can from the food pile. Just relax, enjoy our company and kick butt during the fights. We're cheering you on. All 125 fans cheered, making Deku nearly explode with happiness. He immediately started bowing to all of them. Thank you, Deku. I have another present for you that isn't food, 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗶 said, coming up to Midoriya. Midoriya stood and looked at her questioningly. Really? 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗶 blushed slightly. You see, my quirk allows me to make things I've drawn come to life using my ink hair, and well, she pulled out a pop figure of Midoriya in his hero costume, holding an analysis notebook. Here. Midoriya gently took it and to no one's surprise, he started crying heavily, enough to break the ground again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A few of the fans blushed and gushed about how cute Midoriya was. Mr. Flex grabbed his shirt right over his heart. What did we do to deserve this sweetheart? Guest giggled. He's the best. Everyone stopped what they were doing to watch Bakugou angrily storm up to Midoriya. Before he could reach Midoriya though, some of the Deku squad jumped up to block him. Bakugou growled. What the F is this? He was surprised when he was suddenly met with over 100 glares. Not something he was used to. It didn't faze him though as he stared at Midoriya. Why is there over 100 people following you around like ducklings and cheering for you during the events? Are you trying to say you're better? Listen, buddy. You may be strong, but you are severely outnumbered here by people who may have some weak quirks, but others who have strong quirks. I suggest you leave now, Mr. Flex growled out. A few of the Deku squad were showing off their quirks, with some in fighting stances, some transforming, and some showing off their mutations. 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗶 was standing in a position ready to draw something, and Gun-Gal had seemed to have glowing guns in her pockets. Bakugou growled, sent one last glare at Midoriya, then stomped off much to everyone's relief. Everyone a part of the Deku protection squad say I. 125 people yelled out I. Midoriya bit his lip as he walked up onto the small stage to fight. He remembered Ojiro's words to him, knew his best bet was to stay silent. When Shinso insulted Ojiro though, Midoriya couldn't help but yell at him. Midoriya's fans watched in terror as Midoriya froze and appeared to turn and start walking to the boundaries. Gun-Gal quickly pulled out a golden glowing scope to see what was happening. Deku's eyes looked cloudy. What is this guy's quirk again? Guest pulled out their laptop and started typing. Found it. It's mind control. 𝗧𝗏𝗃 Deku is under that Shinso guy's control. Mr. Flex yelled out, causing a lot of the Deku squad to panic. 𝗓𝗄𝗁 continued watching Deku through her scope. It looks like he's trying to fight it. He's shaking all over. The Deku squad cheered for Midoriya and yelled words of support at him, telling him to fight the mind control. It wasn't until Midoriya got to the edge that he stopped and 𝗓𝗄𝗁 gasped. OSHT. He just broke 2 of his fingers. What? Paint yelled as she and others gasped. Everyone watched as Midoriya then quickly beat Shinso. They of course cheered, but a lot of them were concerned about the fact that Midoriya had to break his fingers. So, when he finally returned to Class 1's box near where the Deku squad sat, a few of them made their ways over and leaned over so that they could peer inside. Deku, are you alright? 𝗓𝗄𝗁 said you broke your fingers. 𝗬𝗪 yelled, close to falling over the edge. Midoriya went over to his fans and smiled. It's nothing too bad. Plus, it was the only way to break out of the mind control. 𝗓𝗄𝗁 sighed. You're going to be the death of us, Deku. Uraraka. Said girl looked over at 𝗓𝗄𝗁. You're one of us. Make sure Deku stays safe. Uraraka nodded. I'll try my best. 𝗵𝗃𝗏 chuckled and leaned over. We're rooting for you, Deku. Even if you don't win, remember that you'll always be number 1 to us. You're already the unofficial number 1 hero to the Deku squad. Yeah. And we'll also always be there to defend you. Mr. Flex yelled. All of the Deku squad who was leaning over glared at Bakugou, who growled at them. Why the F are you all looking at me? Kirishima chuckled. Dude, I think you made enemies with over 100,000 people. Midoriya sighed. I appreciate it, but I would rather be the one protecting people. Ah, this is why you're our favorite, Deku. 𝗬𝗪 said before pulling Midoriya into an awkward hug, which Midoriya struggled to reciprocate. Deku, here are some chocolates that I made especially for you. Another fan said, reaching over to hand Midoriya a small box of chocolates. Midoriya smiled happily. Thank you all so much. Kaminari sighed. I am so jealous. Midoriya has the best fans ever. I want fans like that. Ashido yelled. Soon everyone settled back down into their seats as the events continued. Midoriya paled slightly when he realized that he was going to face Todoroki, but calmed down and decided that he was going to do his best while also helping Todoroki with his problems. There was another hour break after the first round of fights. Midoriya climbed over the railing, something he usually wouldn't do, and sat down with his fans to talk and hang out. Some of his fans were a family with a young boy and girl who were twins. Midoriya took the time to write down some notes on some people's quirks. I have to do a live stream soon where I analysis some of your quirks, Midoriya said, smiling at his fans. Yes. Please yes, Mr. Flex said, looking so hopeful. Another younger fan came up to Midoriya. Deku. Midoriya looked at them curiously. Yes. The young boy grabbed Midoriya's hand and held it between his hands. Flames sprouted from the boy's hands, but it didn't burn so Midoriya didn't pull away. People watched in amazement as the YouTuber's fingers healed instantly. Midoriya looked at the boy in surprise, who grinned. I have a quirk called Cleansing Flames. It lets me heal a lot of things. It's powered by spicy food though, which I don't really like, but I'd eat 100 ghost peppers to make you feel better. The boy stood proudly. Midoriya smiled and started crying again as he hugged the boy. Thank you so much. The boy hugged him back, which caused a few people to squeal from the cuteness. Far too soon though, it was time for the second round with Midoriya up first with Todoroki as his opponent. His fans cheered him on of course as he stepped onto the area stage. Midoriya smiled at them and clenched his fist. He was as ready as he would ever be as Midnight started the match. The Deku squad watched closely, cheering for Deku at first. They all became worried though with how Midoriya was breaking his fingers again and again. 𝗓𝗄𝗁 had been watching through her scope and reading their lips, getting an in-depth look at what was going on. It looks like Deku is encouraging Todoroki to use his left side. I bet that dash. Before she could finish, Todoroki erupted in fire. The heart is on the left side. Todoroki's fire is controlled by his left. Deku literally set his heart on fire. 𝗬𝗪 said, laughing. Deku needs to stop using his quirk. The toll it's taking on his body, Mr. Flex mumbled. Guest nodded. Of course he's putting others over himself though. I bet his only concern was getting Todoroki to use his fire. 𝗵𝗃𝗲 sighed. You don't think we could get that kid with the healing flames to come and heal him again, do you? Deku will probably be too wiped out for Recovery Girl to heal him properly. I'll help, said Kid shouted, appearing out of nowhere and scaring a lot of people. I'll even eat extra spicy food to help. 𝗵𝗏𝗍 patted the kid's head. You are an awesome kid. Just make sure you don't overuse your quirk, or it will make Deku sad, right? He nodded, then went back over to his parents, demanding some spicy food. Finally, the match ended. While the Deku squad was disappointed Midoriya lost, they were glad that he wouldn't hurt himself anymore. Some of them though left the stands to rush down where Midoriya would be leaving the center on his way to Recovery Girl. Midoriya looked at them in surprise. What are you guys doing here? Mr. Flex didn't say anything but picked up Midoriya. We are here to take you to Recovery Girl. The little boy jumped up. Let me heal him first. Midoriya looked at him. Thank you, but I don't want you to overexert yourself. A man who looked like an older version of the boy patted his head and grinned. Don't worry about him. He's actually pretty good with his quirk. He just ate several peppers so that he could heal you too. Well, Midoriya couldn't argue with that, so he let the boy cover him in warm flames that started to slowly heal him. After a minute, Midoriya stopped him when he started sweating from the effort. He smiled and ruffled the kid's hair. Thank you very much. Let's have Recovery Girl handle it from here though, alright. The kid nodded, looking at Midoriya like he was the best thing in the world. I'm going to become a great hero and then I'll be able to heal you whenever you get hurt. Midoriya blushed. Ah, thank you. You are going to make a great hero. After another minute of talking and getting the kid's name and address so that he could send him some things, Mr. Flex carried Midoriya to Recovery Girl with error, paint, and gun gal following behind. Guest had stayed back to film events for Midoriya. Recovery Girl was surprised when several people came into her office with Midoriya. She was even more so when his injuries weren't as bad as she thought they would be. These are my subscribers, a part of the Deku squad. Another one of them, a little boy with a healing fire quirk, stopped me so that he could heal me a little before I went to see you. He thought it would be for the best since you take from my stamina while his quirk depends on how much spicy food he eats, Midoriya explained. Recovery Girl sent the Deku squad away, chastised Midoriya for getting injured and then letting a little kid heal him, bandaged him up, then sent Midoriya on his way. By the time Midoriya had gotten back to the arena, Bakugou and Todoroki were about to verse each other. Guest leaned over the railing to talk to Midoriya. Don't worry Deku. I've been filming everything so that you can do some analysis and wouldn't miss anything. I am going to be sharing copies of your fights with the rest of the Deku squad though, just so you know. Midoriya chuckled. That's alright. Thank you guys. Hey guys. This is Deku, signing on. That's right, it's another live stream. This time though, I'm using my laptop which one of you, aka guest, sent me. Seriously though. A laptop? I am blown away. I really don't deserve it, Midoriya said, sitting in the middle of class with his classmates around him. Midoriya looked at his phone for the comments. Guest, it's not like it really cost me anything. I built it myself. Enjoy it. User not found. I'm still surprised with how shy you are in real life at guest Mr. Flex. We all need to meet up again. I enjoyed talking to you all. Also, I got to hold Deku and carry him, so that was a plus gun gal. I'm so jealous. You just had to swoop in before anyone could say anything. 𝗵𝗏𝗍, how about we all take turns holding him the next time we all meet? User not found. Sounds good to me. But why are we in Deku's classroom? Midoriya blushed and stuttered. No one is holding me. I only let Mr. Flex carry me because I was too tired to move. Wait, when did this happen? Ashido asked, leaning against 𝗬𝗪. After my fight with Todoroki. Before I could go to Recovery Girl, some of the Deku squad cut me off. There was this one kid who had the power to heal people with flames and he healed me the best he could. He's going to make an amazing rescue hero. Midoriya explained. Deku's #1 fan. That's me. And thank you so much for the limited edition stuff. User not found. Wait a minute. No, this isn't right. See, I am obviously Deku's #1 fan. Anyway, what is this stream about? Midoriya sighed. Back on topic. Today we are checking everyone's progress on their competition. Again, it isn't the sub number but view time that matters, but they continue to ignore that. Error, user not found. I bet the 𝗕𝗏𝗍𝗪 is in last. 𝗧𝗏𝗍𝗪 went over everyone's channels, writing down their sub count, which Midoriya pointed the camera to. Actually, it looks like 𝗵𝗃𝗲 is in last place with 1. Followed by Shoji with 2, Kaken with 5, Koda with 11, user not found. The a-hole only has 5 subs. Also, Koda, you are doing great. Mr. Flex, it is very satisfying to see 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏 near last. Funny that he can barely compete with someone who hasn't uploaded anything and a pervert. 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏, shut the hell up. Midoriya glanced at Bakugou. Kaken, please leave my fans alone. All you did was upload a video of you yelling about how you were the best and deserved a lot of subs while also setting off your quirk. All 𝗵𝗃𝗲 uploaded was a video of top 10 sexiest heroines, and Shoji hasn't uploaded anything. Those are the only things keeping you from being at the bottom. The F did you just say to me, nerd? Bakugou stomped up and grabbed Midoriya's shirt, trying to intimidate him. Your stupid fans are just as bad as you. Now, someone could insult Midoriya all they wanted, and Midoriya wouldn't usually react. However, at this point, Bakugou had insulted his fans several times now, which was something Midoriya didn't tolerate. He snapped. So, grabbing Bakugou's arm, Midoriya easily pulled Bakugou up and picked up the shouting teen. Insult. Fence. Mr. Flex, holy SHT Deku is mad. I've been here for years and I've never seen him get mad. Midoriya threw Bakugou to the ground, stunning a majority of people in the room, including Bakugou himself. Midoriya sighed then smiled at the camera. Anyway, next is Sato. He's been doing some cooking tutorials, which has gotten him 27 subscribers. Then 𝗷𝗏𝗍𝗪 and 𝗧𝗏 are tied with 29. 𝗷𝗏𝗍𝗪 does beauty tutorials and French cuisine reviews, while 𝗧𝗏 has uploaded some videos of him doing parkour using his quirk. Some of Class 1A were still stunned by Midoriya's outburst, much to the Deku squad's amusement. Ain't paint, I think Deku broke them. It's like they short-circuited. Anon, meanwhile Deku is just continuing talking about everyone's channels and their ranks. Flasky, this is great. At 31 subs is Ida with his video about Ingenium, which ended with a short interview. Then we have Ojiro with his martial arts, Todoroki with his random vlogs, and Tokoyami with his top 10 emo songs video all at 40 subscribers. 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗧 has 64 subscribers thanks to her invisible pranks, which I enjoyed watching. Guest, I loved the invisible pranks. They made me laugh so hard. Error, user not found, same. I can't wait to see more. Our own 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗪 is at 75 subscribers with her floating challenge and the video of her fight with Bakugou. Just in front is 𝗬𝗎 with her vlogs about meeting different frogs with 80 subscribers. 𝗔𝗫𝗏 is next with 97 subs with her original music, then Yaoyorozu with 98 subs with her showing off her doll making skills. Finally, 𝗧𝗏𝗏 at 100 subs with her showing off her acid, Kirishima at 103.3 with his random videos, and Kaminari with an impressive 112 with his light shows. Midoriya finished. Of course, it went unsaid that Midoriya was beating them all. Ain't paint. Deku is the best and always will be, just like 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗪 will always be the second best as she is one of us who got to meet Deku and became his classmate, but I think Kaminari might be my third favorite. Mr. Flex, Kirishima's my third favorite error. User not found. 𝗔𝗫𝗏𝗧𝗏 mine thanks to her killer music. Kaminari, Kirishima, and 𝗔𝗫𝗏 all were happy to read those comments. They all agreed that Midoriya was the best though, knowing how much of a cinnamon roll he was and the fact he had the most subscribers. Bakugou finally snapped out of his stupor and jumped up. What the hell, Deku? Midoriya looked at him, his face stone cold. You can insult me all you want, Kaken. I have dealt with it for years. I will not tolerate you insulting my subscribers though. They are my friends and family. Knitter's life, and some of us are actually pro heroes too. Best Jeanist sometimes watches Deku. Guest, I've never seen Deku look like that. Midoriya sighed and looked back at the camera, smiling as usual. Anyway, now that the update is over, I want to do something that I told you all I would do earlier. Today I'll be analyzing a few fans' quirks, starting with 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗍. Bakugou grumbled and sat down, obviously thinking about what just happened. Hey everyone. This is Deku, signing on. Midoriya smiled into his vlog camera. He didn't vlog often, but he thought now might be a good time considering it was his first internship. Now, you guys know that I don't vlog often, but I'm going to my first internship, so I thought why not vlog now. I've just gotten off the train and I'm now going to the only hero who sent me an offer for an internship. I wonder what he'll be like. I'll see you guys later. Midoriya put away his camera and started walking to the address he had gotten. He was happy when he was stopped by a little girl who was his fan. Apparently, he had helped her overcome her fear of her quirk. He took some pictures with her, planning on putting it in his vlog as well as posting them on his Twitter and Instagram, then went back to looking for the address of the man who sent him an offer. It didn't take long before he found the place. Midoriya was in a great mood as he walked up the steps. He had surpassed 200,000 subscribers, he had put Bakugou in his place, and now he was getting to meet the person who gave him an offer for an internship. Sure, his mood was a little soured by learning that 𝗔𝗫𝗵𝗃 had to go to the hospital, but he tried not to dwell on it too much. At least the former pro hero was alive. So, taking a deep breath, Midoriya knocked on the door. Receiving no response, he then opened the door, announcing his presence. He froze though when he saw an old man laying in what he assumed was a puddle of blood. Midoriya screamed and panicked. He's dead. The old man looked up, smiling happily. I'm alive. He's alive. Midoriya was totally freaked out. He didn't expect this. He sighed in relief though, glad he didn't have to call the police or anything. The man stood and wiped the ketchup off of his uniform, shaking while leaning against his cane. I was carrying a nice big plate of sausages covered in ketchup when I accidentally tripped and fell down, the man, 𝗓𝗏𝗄 explained. Midoriya sighed. He had a feeling that this was going to be a long day. Midoriya looked at the camera and sighed. While 𝗓𝗏𝗄 was out, he figured he might as well update the vlog. He was so confused though. So, I met the hero I'm interning with. He went to buy some food earlier. When I first arrived though, he made me think he was dead because he was this little old man laying in a puddle of what I thought was blood, but turned out to be ketchup. Midoriya sighed again. He then made me change into my hero outfit, which I'm still wearing, and made me fight him. The thing is, his quirk makes him crazy fast. I couldn't even land a hit. Finally, I tried aiming for where he was going to be both dodged and pinned me down. He then said I was too stiff and that even though I understand how to use my quirk, there's discord in my mind. Midoriya looked up at the ceiling, thinking about what 𝗓𝗏𝗄 said about one for all too. He obviously couldn't say anything about that on camera. What does stiff mean in the first place? Thinking about it another way, what makes movement flexible? Flexible, Midoriya thought about his fight with Bakugou. Midoriya gasped and pulled out his notebook and pencil. I know. Midoriya started writing into his notebook. I've been thinking about my quirk as a special move. I see how others with quirks like mine used theirs, why didn't I notice? Midoriya thought about all the times he witnessed all might use one for all. That's right. Quirks are part of your body. I need to think of my quirk more evenly. Midoriya grinned at the camera. That's it. I see. A slim figure of questionable gender watched as 𝗵𝗃 talked to a person they despised. Now, this was their first time meeting Bakugou in person, but they have watched, read, and listened enough to despise the blonde. They finally spoke once 𝗵𝗃 had restrained the explosive teen. You know, 𝗵𝗃 has a point considering how you treat an absolute cinnamon roll. They ran a hand through their perfectly styled hair. Bakugou turned his attention to the figure, glaring heavily. What the hell are you talking about? The person chuckled, not even flinching. Why, I'm talking about our sweet Deku, of course. You may know me by my screen name, 𝗕𝗫𝗓𝗏. I was the one who gave him the sweater on the live stream where you were yelling at him for streaming at 5 in the afternoon. Bakugou's eyes widened and he looked ready to explode. 𝗕𝗫𝗓𝗏 continued though. You should know, this agency is full of Deku fans. Including 𝗵𝗃. We brought you here not only to turn you into a model citizen, but also to show you that the Deku protection squad is everywhere, and we cherish Deku, 'cause he's a precious cinnamon roll. Bakugou had never regretted anything more at that moment than choosing best jeanist for his internship. Midoriya groaned when he finally decided to go back inside. He made sure to pull out his camera though so he could film the end his first day at his first internship. He hoped that his fans wouldn't notice how messed up. Rambles 2, 𝗧𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗃 continued. Mr. Flex, poor Izuku is so timid. 𝗵𝗃𝗏, just like his middle school years, just some bread. Oh, I can just picture all the fanfics that are now being written. 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗧𝗏, this is bound to be stressful for them. Izuku and Izuku both grimaced. Let's not think about that. We promised that we would look over your quirks today. So, first up we have, Izuku looked through the they had gotten while Izuku shyly waved at the camera. User not found, my heart. He is too cute. Guest, I suddenly have found myself sending a bunch of cute rabbit plushies and cute clothing to Deku's P.O. box. Guest, and 𝗕𝗏𝗏 stuff, just so Izuku can burn it 'cause I feel like she would despite her cute appearance. Robert Umbra, I wish we could legally change 𝗕𝗏𝗏's hero/civilian name to illegal burning trash pile. Shoto, I wish we could too. And I now am thinking that I am bisexual. Cellophane, like I said before, same. Izuku blushed more reading the comments. Again this is only a temporary thing. I don't think that all the things you're sending will get here before we fuse back. Izuku snorted and shook her head. I definitely will burn any 𝗕𝗏𝗏 stuff that I find in my possession. That would be a fun video. Anyway, first up we have a person by the name of Nikki who appears to have a plant-based mutation quirk. Izuku pressed some buttons so that a video of Nikki was showing while also showing her and Izuku's faces. The video was of Nikki, who was basically a walking plant. Their legs were both made out of tree bark that ended in 3 stubs at the bottom to act as toes. Their 𝗬𝗓 and torso were made out of all sorts of leaves, herbs, and flowers while their right arm was completely made out of moss. Their right shoulder also had some mushrooms growing out of it while their right hand was more of a stub with some nubs for fingers. Their left arm was also made of tree bark, but it had twigs and leaves sticking out of it and ended with a hand that had long, sharp fingers. Nikki's head was like a wooden mask that had dark freckles, a flower on their left cheek, a patch of moss on their right, and hollow eyes. Their hair was made up of short, thick vines, that was mostly hidden under the giant black witch hat they wore. The witch hat was also covered in small vines and flowers. Besides the witch hat, the only other item of clothing Nikki wore was a gold locket. Wow, Nikki looked so cool. Izuku had stars in his eyes. Izuku chuckled and patted Izuku's head. The video played, showing Nikki basically manipulate their body, like stretching out her left arm to make a huge wall or making vines grow out of their right stub hand. They also showed how they could grow organic foods, all kinds of berries, and different herbs. Their quirk could be really useful for rescues. Making vines to hold up collapsing rubble and rocks, using the vines to rescue people who are trapped in places no one can get to, providing food for people who have been starved, shielding from attacks and debris, etc. I have a feeling that they are weak to fire though, Izuku said, pulling out a fan quirk analysis book that Deku had made. She paused the video though and growled in frustration. And it appears that I can't draw. Izuku. Izuku nodded and took the notebook, drawing an almost perfect picture of Nikki. Looks like I got the artistic abilities. Izuku took the opportunity to look at the comments. Chargebolt. Nikki reminds me of that one girl I fought in the sports festival. Pinky. Oh yeah. But isn't it cool that they are completely made of plants? Guest. I wonder if they eat. Like, do they eat food or do they just absorb the sunlight like plants do? User not found. 𝗧𝗏𝗏. What if they grew up in a pot when they were younger? The plant life chose me. I actually did used to sleep in a pot of dirt instead of a bed when I was younger. And no, I do not eat food. I don't have any human organs. Izuku tilted her head. Wait, if you don't have any organs, then how do you see? The plant life chose me. Doctors are still wondering that to this day. User not found. Does this mean you don't know the wonders of pizza? The plant life chose me. I don't even have a tongue. I for some reason have teeth though, and they are made out of wood. Alright, so you don't have any organs. Even a brain. The plant life chose me, not exactly. Like, my whole body is kinda like my brain. It's really hard to explain. Also, I can't talk. I don't have any vocal cords. I still wonder why I even have a mouth. Do you think you might be able to absorb and melt food in your mouth like a Venus flytrap? 𝗧𝗂𝗧𝗏 asked as 𝗧𝗂𝗧 finished up the drawing. The plant life chose me. Oh, I did not think of that. Mr. Flex. This is why Deku, no matter what form, is the best. 𝗧𝗂𝗧 snorted. Well, try that and let us know the results. Anyway, let's get back to the video. The next day, the two halves of Midoriya walked in to see that things were rearranged to make room for a desk for 𝗧𝗂𝗧. It was a tight fit, but they were grateful. Well, mostly 𝗧𝗂𝗧 was. They had also discovered that 𝗧𝗂𝗧 was better at math and English, while 𝗧𝗂𝗧 was better at history, art, science, and gym. Things were finally starting to wind down for the day when Bakugou approached the two. Everyone watched with bated breaths to see what he was going to say. Oi, you two, I need to talk with you. 𝗧𝗂𝗧 glared at him, reaching back to take 𝗧𝗂𝗧's hand. And why should we listen to what you have to say? Bakugou growled. Because it's important. Now come on. The explosive boys stomped over to the classroom door. 𝗧𝗂𝗧 and 𝗧𝗂𝗧 shared a look, then hesitantly followed Bakugou, not missing the looks of worry they got from their classmates. 𝗧𝗂𝗧 wasn't worried though. If it came down to it, she could easily restrain Bakugou while 𝗧𝗂𝗧 ran back to class. They stopped at the top of some stairs, and after making sure no one was around, Bakugou faced the two. Damn it, why is this so hard to say? Bakugou growled and looked like he was about to explode. 𝗧𝗂𝗧 raised an eyebrow and crossed her arms while 𝗧𝗂𝗧 hid behind her, peeking his head out. Listen. Bakugou glared at the two. During my internship, I was surrounded by your fans who basically tortured me by making me watch all your videos, saying how you were a great example on how I was supposed to act. They also lectured me about being a proper citizen and about how heroes don't treat others like 𝗧𝗏𝗧. So what? We already know that, 𝗧𝗂𝗧 said, looking bored. 𝗧𝗂𝗧 stayed silent, but he had come out from behind 𝗧𝗂𝗧. Bakugou looked like he was about to snap at 𝗧𝗂𝗧, but restrained himself. Then I started thinking about how all your fans were ready to murder me at the Sports Festival and how like over 100 of them came to support you. And then, you go and talk about how I can't talk 𝗧𝗏𝗧 about your fans? 𝗧𝗂𝗧 tilted his head curiously. Well, they are really important to us. They helped us get through our middle school years where yes, when I treated you like 𝗧𝗏𝗧. That's what I'm trying to say though. I'm sorry that I treated you like 𝗧𝗏𝗧. Don't think that we're going to go and be friends or anything, but I'm gonna try and stop bullying you. Deal. 𝗧𝗂𝗧 eyed him suspiciously. Why should we believe you? Well, for all he's done, he's never lied to us, 𝗧𝗂𝗧 said. To trust him? 𝗧𝗂𝗧 frowned. He told us to basically kill ourselves back in middle school. People change though. And if he says that he's going to try and be nicer, I believe him. The two were facing each other now, almost ignoring Bakugou, who was watching them with varying emotions. Yes, some people change, but that doesn't mean he will. He's always been a JRK to us just because we were born quirkless, 𝗧𝗂𝗧 argued. He was nice to us before we were deemed quirkless. He used to happily call us his friend. 𝗧𝗂𝗧 argued back. Maybe so, but he's been our bully longer than he's been our friend. Do I have to remind you of all the burns, all the scars, all the cuts, and all the bruises we had to hide just so we wouldn't worry Mom? Plus, he got everyone to bully us. It was the school against us. The only one who was ever on our side was our mom. Frankly, I don't think most people even deserve to be saved. He's proven that people can easily be cruel and get away with it just because they have a flashy quirk. We can change that though by becoming a hero. If we showed the world how they should act, they'll follow along and eventually, the world will be better. Bakugou was shocked by how this fight was turning out. Even if these people were two halves of Midoriya, they still represented him and what he thought. That meant that what 𝗧𝗂𝗧 was saying were all things that Midoriya thought too. Despite that though, Midoriya still wanted to be a hero. 𝗧𝗂𝗧 growled, throwing her hands up in the air. Fine. If you really want to trust him, go ahead. But don't you dare come crying to me when he ends up treating you like just like he did for most of our lives. With that, she stomped off back to the classroom, leaving a crying Izuku and a frustrated and confused Bakugou. Bakugou didn't really know what to do. Izuku had stormed off, leaving him with a crying Izuku. He may have realized that his earlier actions were wrong and had wanted to apologize, but Bakugou still didn't want to deal with the crying boy. He knew he couldn't just leave him, however. As much as he didn't want to admit it, he felt guilty when remembering how he told Midoriya to kill himself. That was too far even for him. So, he sat down with a groan and gestured for Izuku to do the same. Izuku was obviously still nervous. No one could blame him for that either. But with a hiccup, Izuku sat down next to Bakugou, still crying heavily. "Nerd, what are you crying for?" "Because I don't like fighting, and Izuku is so mad with me," and Izuku started to hyperventilate, panicking more. Bakugou cursed and tried to think of what to do. He wasn't at all comfortable in these situations and didn't know what to do. "Hey, just calm down and breath, idiot. You're not gonna be doing anyone any favors by passing out. Come on, deep breath in then out." Izuku shakily nodded and started doing what Bakugou said, breathing in and out on the explosive boy's command. Once Izuku's breathing was relatively normal again, Bakugou sighed and looked away. "Look, you were just standing up for what you thought was right. Izuku may be mad at you now, but looking at the fact that you're both annoying halves of annoying Deku, then she'll apologize in no time and you two will make up. Plus, you two are going to refuse back into shitty Deku in less than a week anyway. There's nothing to worry about." Izuku nodded, sniffling a little. "Thank you, Kakan, you really are a good person deep down. I think you'll be a great hero, despite what Izuku says." Bakugou blushed slightly and quickly looked away. "Whatever, nerd." The two sat like that for a few minutes, a comfortable silence falling over them while Izuku calmed down more and stopped crying.